Last week on Flight Room TV.
I'm not even going to like pussyfoot around with this subject at all. Let's jump out there. The U.S. government in 1999 was already found guilty of conspiring of the plot to kill Dr. Martin Luther King. In any crime, you want to know the motive, and that's when I kind of want to get into like what was the motive to take him out. Like that's the question I want to pose.
People like that, their whole job is to keep us on the hamster wheel. Like, you know, they keep us. It's like kind of like they're like ushering our emotions into confusion. You know what I'm saying? It's like their job. You know what I'm saying?
Since they're popular, we identify with them. They're the gatekeeper.
Exactly. Gatekeeper. That's a perfect word. That's what they are. They're kind of like the boule. That's what the boule is. It's like the middle ground between the elites and the black population. Boule. That's what they are.
It's even crazy though, and I always like it's so easy to overlook. In every inner city, it's an MLK Boulevard.
Damn, I didn't think about that.
That's probably one of the worst.
But that's the truth, and it's always a bad neighborhood too.
And every inner city,
street.
Boulevard.
I hate you because you just said that.
Yeah,
that's real though. That's
the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. People want to think that is like Black Americans are already here. Former birthrights and nationality. We reached the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over the nation because the goal of America is freedom. Abuse and scorn, though we may be, our destiny is tied up with the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we were here.
Mm-hmm. I remember him.
So is this King saying this right here?
Yeah. This was
Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, Jesse Jackson. You right, about 60 years.
But yeah, so I mean, and then you know, listening to what King's saying, that don't sound like he talking about we came from Africa. If he said we was already here, based off what he's saying. You know, so maybe Jesse Jackson was like, "Oh man, you know, people starting to wake up. Like, let me, you know, y'all African American. Like, don't listen to what he's saying."
Yeah,
like,
and Jesse was there on
Jesse was there the whole time,
and he was there on the second floor of the Lorraine Motel where King got shot, and people say he set him up with other black leaders on that thing, and they was at room 306. Yeah,
06. Yep.
Him, Al Sharpton,
him and Crump.
Yep, Benjamin.
And Al Sharpton even
Crump
came out and said he was a FBI informant.
Yeah, he straight up said that.
He is an FBI informant.
Said that.
Like
not too long before he died, he was saying something about like, "Oh, I'm afraid I'll walk my people into a burning building." Because I remember they were saying something like he started to change his whole approach and his whole outlook, like closer to his death, and you know, saying that he was, exactly, wow, right there, ready for, exactly. And I guess his approach was starting to change, and I guess that maybe had what led to, you know, people coming after him. So
it's not as radical as Malcolm X. However, you talking about like, let's go get our money. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He said, let's go cash these checks.
Exactly. And if you get a mass of people on the same page, because look what they did with the buses. That's what I'm saying. Imagine if they could use how they boycotted the buses. That whole strategy onto everything else, you know what I'm saying? And just like what Fred Hampton did, when you get it's now we're not just talking about black people, we're talking about
poor
a
people.
Mass, exactly, a bigger mass of people, and predominantly of them are black. But just, I mean, those two, you getting people to get on the same page, it's like, hold up, all right.
It has been suggested that the boycott cost the city of Montgomery $3,000 a day.
This quote was pulled in 1912. We must realize that our party's most powerful weapon is racial tension. By propounding to the consciousness of the dark races that for centuries they have been oppressed by whites, we can mold them into a program of Communist Party.
I mean, that's what's going on right now.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's happening right now.
1912.
This is 1912, and that's exactly so. They've been playing the same game from the right, you know, from the very beginning. So he's basically trying to mold the minds of the kids into the future because they didn't see Martin Luther King. They saw George Floyd. So now by him saying that that's a bigger, more important thing, these kids are going to feel like that, propounding into the consciousness of their, of their blackness or whatever. It's like he's, basically saying this is more important, young black people. This George Floyd thing is, you know what I'm saying? Like he's just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? He's passing the baton on to the future of the symbolism of your oppression. Do you see how I'm sorry, I'm still reading this quote. Like this, this shit is deep. This nigga said, look, he said, we will aid the Negroes to rise in prominence in every walk of life in the professions in the world of sports and entertainment. With this prestige, so listen, with this prestige, the Negro will intermarry with the whites. In other words, Justin Bieber, Eminem, Elvis. You see what I'm saying? So now what we did is we put these black men on a pedestal. We got these NBA players. So now these black people are kind of in the consciousness of the average white person that's growing up in America. And then through these black people, we can push our agendas, which will naturally turn white people to follow the same path that we kind of like. Black people are kind of like the pawns, and they're using black people to manipulate the rest of the country. That's what it says.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
And that's the whole thing about talking about cash and checks. He was demanding what was promised after the Civil War about the 40 acres and the mule and all that stuff.
They was actually fighting for something real. They was like, oh shit, we was promised this after this war. These people today, that these people marching and fighting all that shit, this ain't the same battle. This is not. We're not fighting over the same things.
Like how MLK was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just tell these people we going to DC and take what's ours. And then you see what happened when you do something like that. You know what I'm saying? So when you overstep your boundaries, it's like they hush you. But then when you stay intact, all you can do is say it loud. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. There you go. And that's what I'm saying.
It has practical significance. You are done. There is but one way for you. You better take it before your filthy, abnormal, fraudulent self is barred to the nation.
Oh, wow, man.
You rubbing shoulders with these people, UN secret societies. Your last speech was in the Masonic temple. Do you think they kind of purvey him to do wild shit and then recorded him to have shit on him?
I don't think so.
That's how they get us all, man.
I mean, that's what that's how they get everybody.
Yeah, but
that's how they get everybody.
Right, but if you want the black vote, all these political leaders will dump their money in the black church to get your vote. They do that shit to this day. So, and then he was sent up. He graduated high school like 15, went to Morehouse, then went up Boston University. The whole New England type, Yale, Skull and Bones.
So he basically saying that
he's been groomed.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, he's basically saying that he was being groomed to be who he was
the entire time.
A lot of these politicians who have been groomed from children, like a lot of these people who try to maintain power within their country or culture or whatever the fuck it may be, they literally will have a child be like, this child's going to be the next.
Right, you can't know wild cards.
This child's going to be the next governor of whatever. Or, you know what I'm saying? This child's going to be the next. Because just think about that shit. Like you were saying, Randall, they can't have no wild cards.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's way too intelligent to even, excel at that level, and then think at one point, I'm getting played right now. It's time to switch the script. Battling with this whole idea when I was doing this research. Was he groomed the whole way, and then he switched up his plan, or was that his plan to begin with?
I think that he was groomed a certain way, and I think he started to wake up to what he was creating, and I think then he started to rebel against that, and then I think that's what happened.
Right, because you can't pretty much his handler, a guy named Raul, and that's all they call him. His name was Raul, and he was an FBI or some type of intelligence agent, and he knew God damn, what was that guy's name? That he knew the guy that killed Oswald in front of everybody. You remember that video?
Yeah, bro. I never understand that.
Hey, he's a fucking career petty, low life criminal, shoplifter, bank rob, and he was out on the Dixie Mafia pretty much broke him out of jail and brought him there to take the fall, and they wrapped up a gun that wasn't the same gun, and the police department was involved and all that shit. So
but ain't that how it always go? They always take like these low life petty crime. I mean, even though
take
that
the fall
shit, they always do. It's like motherfucker, you clearly ain't shit. Don't nobody give a fuck about you. Just gonna use you as
and you don't have no that there was multiple teams there to take the shit out, and just the one that got him active first. So all these spy movies that we watch, there'll be multiple teams, and then you know what I'm saying, you didn't know that a team was there while you was there, but you still carrying out the same mission.
Can you imagine living?
Rex 84 is a short readiness exercise. 1984 was classified scenario and drill developed by the United States federal government to detain large numbers of United States citizens deemed to be national security threats. So this came after the King Alfred plan, which is funny because what's the name? Martin Luther King's brother name is Alfred King. I don't know. I don't know why I connected it to, but still.
I think that being poor or poverty or whatever is a part of the system. It makes the system go. You can't have this system without poor people. So if let's say like MLK had the whole, poor people's march to like try to like, make it better for poor people, but like that's kind of like going against the system, you know what I mean? Because it's like kind of like you can't have a capitalist society without having somebody who's at the bottom. Right. You need poor people to have capitalism. You need rich people to have capitalism. You cannot have rich without poor. So if you're trying to end poverty, you're like kind of destroying the system. You see what I'm saying? That's even the issue, because we all been growing up. We didn't all grown up, bro. Like, come on. If Kanye going, I'm gonna make some $40 shoes for the poor niggas. Then if you got them $40 shoes on, niggas gonna fry your ass up. Niggas gonna fry the fuck out of you. And he knows that. And he knows that, so why he gonna make some low?
But I'm saying, but you can't make. I'm talking about like his like jumpsuits and shit. You can't make shit look like $20 and then sell it for $200. You know what I'm saying? Man. Like the jumpsuits, he passed. Like all them dudes that was around him became bigger. All the people that was rubbing elbows with him became bigger, and the message that he was starting to pick up kind of died for a while.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. I think it got watered down. That's why they kind of focus on I have a dream speech shit, and they don't focus on that other shit.
The later stuff,
They don't want you to see that part. They just want you to focus on the
bringing everybody together,
the kumbaya shit.
I came across while researching I found this book called Jewish Ritual Murder.
Shit, that's so action packed.
Bro. And it breaks down like how they, like the magic of stuff, like the energy they take from stuff like that. So this shit is real. Pretty much.
Sacrifices and all that.
You think it's like ooky spooky shit? No, this shit is real. Like they been practicing this shit for
like a long
millennia. Yes. I think
you don't think everybody that gets to those levels is kind of compromised?
That's what I'm saying.
I
think the crown is too protected. I think the crown is too protected.
And that's the point I go back to where I say we underestimate the levels that niggas will go to maintain power, because we're just regular fucking people. We've never had that much control. Like nigga, we have to obey the laws. These niggas don't have to obey the laws.
Right.
Like it's different. It's different.
And even when you spread the awareness, when you get to a certain point, like not even like you the forefront of it, even when you start to spread the awareness, it's not going to get to that level. They're going to ask you out.
They all don't have to be quote unquote Illuminati. Like, it is what it is. It's like it's a certain messaging you have to push in order to be recognized, Like you were saying earlier, Randall, you was like, oh shit, well, I know I'm gotta wrap around bitches and hoes and shit like that, but eventually I'm gonna change it. But you know what you gotta give niggas in order to be recognized,
So you think that's why like sometimes he'll like throw like little, bits and pieces sometimes
I think that's I think a lot of rappers do that. It's the what do you call it? Putting the medicine in the candy. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is.
Hopefully somebody can explain to me. Jay Electronica, you run around with like one of the Rothschild heirs.
His daughter.
Yeah.
I think that was like his girlfriend.
Yeah, and then like you would say like everything right in a song, like like little gems that I'm looking for sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like not the booty and the bitches and all that shit like that. You would say, you know, the jumps that I be searching for sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I think if you play
both.
I mean, but it's right. They serving two masters, but and then I think that's kind of the like. But
nobody be talking about like shit. How he be talking about something like, oh yeah, like I need that.
Because nobody hears that. What you saying? That shit you talking about? The average nigga don't be hearing that shit. They don't see it. They don't see it. You know.
So we just had a conversation about how MLK, right? How he was pretty much groomed into be this person, right?
Hold up. Okay.
Let's talk about Tupac, right?
Hey, we had this conversation before, Randall. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
We did. We've been.
Can we say that Pac was pretty much the same thing? You know, pretty much groomed to be this not outlaw, but to be this.
Because it's ties to the Black Panthers and all that. Yeah,
exactly. From his mom to where he got his name from, to his stepfather, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, almost sound like his life was scripted. Almost, that's basically what you kind of. I mean, I see what you're saying. It makes.